was a business, recovery would be the profit and loss statement. And for years, I was in the red. So I've had my Whoop band since January of 2022, and I have some pretty insane stats across that time. Here's some of them. With all of those statistics, I'm gonna show you exactly what I track and what I look at, and then how I make decisions based off of that data. Let's go. You've seen all of the hustle content, and it's not bad. Physically, you can push yourself farther and farther and farther. But the more I got into business, the more I realized I needed my brain to have the energy, not just my physical body. And I needed my brain to have energy, especially when working with people and when working within business. We're looking to be consistent. So that's where we need to track our data to be consistent with our effort output. I used to think more output equals more results. But like a business burning cash, if you're not replenishing, you're dying. This is my KPI switch. I got my Whoop band in January of 2022 with the sole reason of tracking my sleep and recovery. My personality is the type where I think I'm Superman and then I can go forever and ever and ever. I then would get frustrated because I wasn't seeing results, even though I was pushing myself super, super hard. It was all really confusing. And that's why I had to get my Whoop band to start actually tracking to see what the heck was going on. Your recovery score should be your personal KPI, the same way every business has KPIs. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. So like most people, just like I was doing, they're tracking hours worked, they're tracking hours spent working out, they're tracking tasks completed. They're missing something like this Whoop band, which gives them visibility to actually track their recovery scores. And that's the key data that most people are missing. So here's how I compare my personal KPIs to business terms. Number one, recovery score equals cash reserves. I look at my recovery score and I see how hard I can push myself for that day. And at the end of the day, I get to see, do I have anything left that I can push without jeopardizing my recovery score the next day? And it's the same thing with cash reserves. Every day, a business is spending money in their marketing fund to bring in more business. But a business can overspend in their marketing budget, where then they aren't actually profiting off that marketing budget. So the key is to figure out the right amount to push yourself, to push your cash reserves without losing finances, but actually getting all the gains you need. Number two, strain equals burn rate. Strain is important because you gotta know, hey, here's how hard I'm pushing myself this day. I'm gonna really need a big sleep coming up. The burn rate part of that is how well a business is operating, right? You can operate on a low staff amount and maybe you're gonna burn your employees out. You can have too much staff and your business isn't burning enough money through it. So you're looking for the proper level of strain. Number three, HRV equals volatility score. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see what my HRV is to tell me how recovered my entire nervous system is. But similar to a volatility score, if I have a very low HRV and I still push myself really hard that day, I'm having a greater and greater chance of having very low recoveries and low brain power. So what we're looking to do, similar to volatility score, is we are looking to have a very minimal amount of risk, but also we want some healthy risk because we also want some reward. But what we're not looking to do is do really high risk, such as having a very low HRV rate and still pushing ourselves very hard. It's all just like a business that can start fast and still fail. You can work hard and still crash. Here is my daily routine of what data I'm tracking with my Whoop band to know where I'm at personally based on science. I wake up, use the bathroom, then get changed. I go to the gym at 6:20 a.m. It's a 10-minute drive to the gym. And as soon as I arrive, I gotta remember to start my weightlifting activity. It's locked. And I also need to stop recording the activity because sometimes I forget to do that and it just runs and runs and runs. So always make sure you stop your activity. Now the rest of my day is very simple. I absolutely crush my day and I don't check it very much. I will check it once in a while. I'm gonna see how well I slept so I know when I really need to go to sleep. So there are different times where I'm doing a lot of weightlifting and my strain score isn't that high. And so what I've noticed happens is that my recovery score is then going down a lot. And so that's when I know I need to skip a morning of weightlifting and just sleep in so that my recovery score can go back up. So it's just something to be aware of with the Whoop band. And it's just like these scores right here, where you can see my recovery score is going down and down and down each day after my weightlifting activities. And so as I see that, I know, hey, I really need to take a rest day. I also bet I was feeling more and more tired each day. So if I didn't track this data, I probably would have kept pushing myself and really hurt my recovery score. And none of that would benefit me, and I would just keep saying, no days off, no days off. But I tracked the data, I didn't work out, and I slept in. And then I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna go to the gym or not. And it's all gonna be based on what my recovery score is and my daily strain. And it also depends on what time I'm getting to bed based on my suggested time in bed. And so it kind of depends. So before I go to sleep, I always check and I look at the statistics. And what this helps me do is it helps me not make an emotional decision on how hard I can push myself and how hard I'm going to push myself. And it really makes me rely on data and how my body is actually performing. And so it takes a lot less of this out. And that's just because I have the tendency to just push myself to the absolute max. No days off, no days off. And I need my brain to be good at business. These are my 4 biggest takeaways to maximize a Whoop band. Number 1, I base my entire week based on where my recovery score is and my business goals. Number 2, I pay attention daily to my recovery score to know when to push and when to rest. Number 3, I stack my hardest work days on days I know I'm going to have a high recovery rate, or I plan to have a high recovery rate on days that I know I'm gonna be pushing myself mentally for my business. 4, I base my calendar on my Whoop data, not my emotions. So if you're just like me and you are having a very challenging time tracking your output and tracking your recovery and knowing how your body is actually feeling, but not putting your emotions into it, I suggest getting a Whoop band. But the biggest thing is if you do get a Whoop band, it's gonna cost you money. It's gonna cost you a monthly membership and a year or a yearly membership. But you need to take some of these tips to actually maximize it. Otherwise, you're not gonna get a return on that investment.